Nittany Lion Roar here, back with another luck versus skill experiment video. If you haven't checked out that first one, make sure you do that so you know what's going on here. But basically, to sum it up, there was a post in the Empires and Puzzles forum asking how much luck is involved in the game, how much skill is involved in the game, and then there was a big debate on that. So I had set up an experiment with 3 scenarios, and the first one that did the best was where I used entirely skill to build the team and then do the tile matches, and that went 8-2 in raids against Teleria. And then when I kept that same team that I had built but did random tile matches, that actually went 7-3, and that really surprised me because I would have thought tile matching skill was a lot more important than it actually turned out to be. However, the third scenario, I created a totally random attack team and then did totally random tile matches, and that team went to an 8. A lot of people had responded to the video. It was very interesting, but people said that they would like to see another scenario where I do random team builds, but actually use skill to see what that would be like. A lot of people are hypothesizing that that's where you'll actually see the big difference between random tile matching and skill tile matching. So that's what I'm going to do today. But I'm going to do a variation on that third scenario in this video. To start off with, to get our baseline, I'm actually going to do 10 different random attack teams to try and get like an average baseline where I use totally random tile matching, and we'll see what kind of record I get with that. And then I'm going to do it again with 10 totally random teams, but I'm actually going to use skill to try to win, and we'll see what the difference is there. So in order to do this, I'm going to use that same random.org website that I had used the first time in the first video to create a random team, and I'm going to use that for every match. So let's go ahead and jump in. Here are the ground rules for this. First, I'm only going to use 5-star heroes, with one exception. I'm going to use Costume Regard because he is basically a 5-star hero, so he could show up in the random pool. Here are the 5-star heroes. I have loaded them into the randomizer. There are 45 total heroes in the randomizer, including Costume Regard. For the first totally random samples, in order to try to make it as random as possible, I know it's never going to be completely random, but to try and at least take the human factor out of it, I'm going to try to make the match that is closest to the top middle every single time. That way I'm not choosing what matches are being made. The computer is basically choosing it for me. Also, whenever I form a Dragon Bomb or a Diamond, I have to set it off right then and there. The same thing happens whenever a hero special is charged. I have to set it off, but I don't choose where it goes. If it's one where I have to target an enemy, I'm just going to click on the special so that the computer targets it randomly. And that will be our totally random sample. I'm also only going to face Teleria tanks, and that is because I believe that has been the source of the question here. A lot of people are saying that Teleria in particular promotes gameplay that is almost entirely luck-based, and so that is what I'm going to face every time. That also limits other factors as well. So only fighting against Teleria tanks, 10 random samples, so this is 10 teams, and then we're going to move on to the next scenario after that. Okay, the moral of the story here is, folks, you can't win at this game if you're doing everything totally random. You can't just take random heroes and make random tile matches and expect to do well. So I think that we all could have guessed this, but that is a horrid approach to this game. So yes, it's clear that there is some level of skill involved in this game, because when I took my best heroes and used skill, I went 8-2, and this was 1-9. After going 2-8 with a similar type of team in the last video. But now I'm really curious to see what's going to happen when I take totally random teams but try to use skill. Because this is really going to tell us if there's enough room in the game for skill to be a big factor. So let's do this again, except this time I'm going to be doing matches I know are smart, and I'm going to be trying to use my hero specials tactically instead of randomly. Okay, there you have it. Another experiment in the books. And this one goes to show that, yes, tile play does in fact matter. You can't just randomly make matches and expect to win. But it showed up bigger in this experiment than it did in the first one. So the first one showed that if you have a really, really good team, then the tile play doesn't really matter all that much because the team will overcome your shortcomings with play. But when you have mid-level types of heroes or team building, then tile matching skill matters a lot more. So when we went totally random this time around, that was only good for 1 win and 9 losses. When doing random teams but making skilled matches, that was good for 5 for 5. So that's still not as good as I would want it to be in this game. I would hope skill would have a lot more of a factor than that, being a 50-50 coin flip with mediocre heroes. Unfortunately, and I mean, I think we all know this, but this really shows the extent to which this is a pay-to-win game. If you have money and you throw money at this game and you have all the best heroes, you practically don't even have to make the tile matches. The game will win for you. If you are a cheap-to-play player, you have more of a shot of being able to bring in victories when you otherwise wouldn't through your skilled play. I think free-to-play players are going to have to get really lucky with their summons to get good heroes to expect to be fighting anywhere near the top 100, although there are free-to-play players who do that. And in fact, I have played with them in my alliance. So free-to-play players can make it. It's a lot harder. It takes a lot more time. Moral of the story, skill does matter. It doesn't matter as much as I thought or I hoped it would, but it does matter. You can't expect to win, especially at our level in the top 100, just by doing random team making and random tile matches. You have to be intentional, especially about what kind of team you put together. But also, I would say this shows that there's anywhere from, I'm going to have to guess without more samples, but I would guess your win rate is approximately 10 to 20% better, maybe even more, with good tile matching. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was enlightening. If you have ideas for future experiments, please make sure to let me know. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so that you know when I make new videos.